There's no way you got better hands than me,
Dude,
man.
your hands are trash, man. I got hands like Barber. What are you talking about?
There's no way.
Yeah, way.
No way.
Yeah, you want to go, man?
Oh,
Watch out, guys. Car!
yeah.
I got hands like Barber. Trust me, boy, you don't want no problems. I got hands like Pavel. You should see the way they stick handle, okay? I got hands like Barber. Trust me, boy, you don't want no problems. I got hands like Pavel.
This is the Men Behind the Mitts podcast. Hosted by Big J. And now, here's your favorite Buttes.
Guys, welcome to episode 36 from Men Behind the Mitts. And let me tell you, I feel like we say this all the time, but this one's a real treat. Silk, am I lying? I mean, no, he's not lying, guys. We got a lot of stuff to catch you up on the NHL, what's going on around the league. We're going to dive into that, but also we've got a great guest joining us on this episode. OGR is back and he's joining us again. And let me tell you, we have some great conversation with him, and we catch up on some 2021 year goals. But before we jump into that, we got some NHL to go over. The start of the season has pretty much gone off without a hitch, except for just a couple teams, Dallas, Carolina, Washington Capitals. But other than that, Silk, we're rolling right along.
Yeah, we are, dude. It's been an exciting season to watch so far. It's had a little bit of playoff atmosphere in a few of these games, seeing them go back to back, the little battles.
For sure, the little series.
Yeah, man, it's been a fun season so far. Not as a Caps fan though, because we apparently just are fucked.
No, we're fine. We're fine. I think we just got to get two more games we've got left on the. So by the time this pod drops, they actually should be back. So Ovi and the Russian squad should be back, and hoping Samsonov has a good, healthy recovery. And we can get him back in the lineup because we've been riding Vitek, who's not been looking bad. But we talked about his stance the other day, man. He's got a weird stance when he addresses the puck and stuff like that. But before we dive too deep in the Caps, let's jump out west, bro. We got to catch up. We got to catch up on the West, man. What's going on out there?
Well, man, it's at the top. Who none other than Vegas out in Honda West, bro. Vegas,
the Golden Knights, folks.
Yeah, they're playing well. 10 points, 5 wins, 1 loss.
5 wins, 1 loss. Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro. It's they've put up. They're beating teams outright. But coming up in number 2 is not who you would expect, bro.
Wait, hold on. Before we move on to number 2, we just got to touch on Mark Stone and Pacioretty, dude. Their chemistry out there. That top line is, man, they're buzzing. And what's great, and what we already know that Vegas is scary. And again, they're proving it, and this team is really meshing, and they're getting all of the right pieces together, and look, they're coming in their third year, fourth year, ready to play, and they're ready to make a statement. They've been there already, in the short time the franchise has been there, but I'm excited for this team. All right, let's roll on. Sorry, we got so much.
No. While you were going down the roster, they're about to play St. Louis, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So your boy on D is going to be having a homecoming, huh?
Yeah, it's exciting for them, man. I can't wait for that matchup.
Yeah, but like I was saying though, in second, bro, Minnesota, they're looking good. They got the young rook, the Rush, coming in, putting up some points.
Absolutely.
Parise's scoring on the board. After that, you got St. Louis, Colorado, and then Los Angeles is up there on 5th. Los Angeles, though, Kopitar is a stud, bro. He's leading the league in points.
Yeah.
10 points, bro. We'll touch on that in a little bit, all the points going on. But
let's say someone's name who, we're used to seeing at the top, man, is Kopitar. So I'm hoping he can get some more stuff going and keep climbing that point board.
Yeah, but like I was saying, man, the West is shaping up to be an interesting one. Arizona at the bottom with Anaheim and San Jose. As we head out west, not out west. Oh, fuck, we just left the West. If we head up north, bro.
Is everything okay? Time is out, folks. Silk, we good, bud? Everything's fine. Keep it rolling. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Bro, my brain is scrambled today, going from
I understand.
dad mode to fucking hockey and then right to recording. It's
Yeah.
scrambled. It's hard to remember everything. But I wanted to talk about the North Division for sure. I know we're going to touch on all of them real quick.
Yeah.
Montreal, bro, is a real threat.
Scary.
Super scary.
I'm going to quote you from about 5 minutes ago. Firing squad. They are puck slingers, bro. They are putting the puck on the net and they are getting success fall on that puck, man. It's incredible, dude. I texted you the other night. I was like, dude, the Habs are looking scary good this year.
Yeah, they are, bro. Part of that coming from the stud though, Nick Suzuki coming off the World Juniors. We talked about this before.
Yep.
All the guys that have come off World Juniors have had legs, and we've seen it. Buffalo's Dylan Cousin getting on the board.
Yep.
Stutzel scored in his
Stutzel on the
second
board.
game. Yeah, we're seeing even down in the AHL, Zegras from USA and Byfield from Canada, both already producing in the AHL.
I can't wait for both of them to develop like over the next couple of years. They're going to be incredible to watch, man.
Yeah, the number one draft pick though from this year for the Rangers still hasn't put any points up yet.
The Goose
recording, yeah, we'll see what happens with him. But hey, maybe he's a late bloomer or
absolutely
he's a bluff.
Oh no, they're already calling
now.
it. But dude, come on, man. He's got to. And look, we already know what happens. Look at Suter. Once you get one, they come. They just keep coming, So all you got to do is get on that board. And I mean, his gameplay is not, Lafreniere's gameplay is not. It's nothing outstanding, but it's it's definitely right homeable. You know what I mean? He's playing a solid game. So we'll definitely see. I think it'll fall for him.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it takes a second year. Let's talk about New Jersey. Jack Hughes is fucking lighting it up. Everyone's saying he was a washout because first year was blah.
Yeah.
But dude, he's shooting, bro, and he's scoring.
Yep, and he finds the open space and he's there at the right time, which is really important, man. His IQ, you can already tell, is increased, which has already led to more points on the board, man. He's developing, and that's just another guy. And me and you, we talk a lot about the player development because, I mean, we'll talk about him again. Look at Tom Wilson's development over the years. Before he entered this league as a goon, and now look at him. You know what I mean? Like he's changed his play, and that can happen with any player. I definitely trust the system as far as development.
Yeah, well, Jack Hughes is a product of USA Hockey
absolutely,
program. And as far as you speak with getting open, that's very familiar with Cole Caulfield, Montreal's draft pick, who's still down in Wisconsin playing D1, but. It really does. You can see these players, man, as they're evolving and where they've trained at, certain styles they play. We're seeing it, and they're finding that open space. Exciting season, bro, for real. Exciting season. But the Caps, hopefully gonna do something in the East. They're leading right now with 3 wins, and what is this, first place in the East?
Yeah, first place in the East, 3 wins, 3 overtime losses. Seems to be the trend. We touched on this before, we love to go to overtime, and I'm not a big fan of the shootout because I feel like it really takes away from the squad. But man, we definitely got unlucky against Pittsburgh, and we got unlucky against Buffalo. It's all right, man. We got plenty of time to turn it around. I'm not concerned.
Yeah, we said it was going to be a battle, and Philly came out hot, but they're all the way down in 5th. Boston, who couldn't really produce on 5-on-5 in regulation, is in 4th, and surprisingly, Jersey is in 3rd, man. And like we were saying about Jack Hughes, like they got players producing over there in Jersey.
Yep.
It's gonna be a battle because there's already teams that you weren't expecting that are up there. Pittsburgh, I expected them to be a 5-6 team.
Absolutely.
They're number 2. So
who expected the Rangers to literally be in last place in the division? That, not me for sure. We were talking about they're one puzzle piece away, and it looks like they're a couple more now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun ride. The last division being the Central, bro. Tampa's leading that, obviously, but we know top 4 can make the playoffs. Second, you got Columbus, who had an awesome win after getting rid of who. But
we got to touch on that.
Yeah, we're gonna let's go around. We're gonna finish going around the league, I figured, and then we'll go down. And we got a couple, matchups coming up, individual players returning home, players coming off injury we'll touch on. But the Central Division, 3rd place Chicago. We saw how bad Chicago started. They're holding strong at 3rd, but right under them, 2 undefeated teams, Dallas and Florida are 4-5. They're both 2-0 and both coming off COVID fucking waits, postponements.
Yeah,
How
Dallas
fucking,
couldn't
how much
wait to
bullshit
hit
is
the ice.
that out in Central? These guys getting a longer break, coming out hungry, and fucking stacking points already. We saw what Dallas did on their home opener.
Yep. And you know what? I'm a little upset with the Dallas, Florida, Carolina situation compared to the Capitals situation. You know, they were able to bump back the entire team schedule versus we just had guys sit out. So I definitely think there's something going on there. But we'll talk about that later. But that's just the Gretzky did it. Just,
Gretzky did it.
It's just what I'm unhappy about. But yeah, man, I'm happy to see Dallas is finally back. They were ready to play. They did not hold anything back. But yeah, man, it's been an exciting start, dude. And I was really not expecting Detroit to be sitting down there at the bottom. Same as Nashville. I wasn't expecting them to be so low, you know, at the start of the season.
Detroit doesn't have a chance, bro.
Yeah, again, unfortunately.
Bro. They really don't. Dallas and Tampa are in the same division. That's the Stanley Cup last year, bro. Think about that. You got I don't know. You got Laine coming now to that division on Columbus. You got Carolina, who also had a postponement. They're coming back, so they've been well rested again after playing a few games, getting the jitters out. Like that's 3 teams now in that division that have COVID postponements that are like, and
on fire.
Carolina's 2-1. They got a winning record.
Yep.
Wow. Very interesting over there, bro. So
I don't know. This is definitely, like we said, this is they're starting off hot. We've seen a lot more scoring. We've talked about this. We've seen a lot more high scoring games already this season. You know, I attribute that to the tenders. You know, like you can only do so much. I know you can train hand eye. I know you can train movement, but if you're not getting, you know, shots ripped at you, all these different angles and constantly, you know what I mean? It's something hard to hang with. And I think that's definitely what I'm noticing anyway. Like some of these shots are savable. And I'm just like, man, they're just getting beat. Like they're lasering these pucks, you know? And that's just, I think what it is they're just not used to seeing that velocity, those angles, those through the sticks, all the traffic. You can definitely tell this year, man, it's definitely hard to be a tender in this league. These guys are getting so much better. I mean, they're bar down ski, everything, double pipes. It's incredible, man.
Yeah, technology of the sticks too. We talk about the sticks all the time. Let's dive into some player talk though, bro. Let's talk about this trade. Let's talk about
big trade. Big trade coming between Winnipeg and Columbus. Everyone kind of knew that Pierre-Luc Dubois was not too happy there in Columbus. Him and now here I go, Tortellini. Him and Torts not getting along down there, only skating 3 minutes of period 1 and pretty much benched after that in the last game he played there. You know, definitely looking lackadaisical when the shifts that he did go out, and he wasn't agreeing. He wasn't happy. You know, him and Torts were butting heads, and he wanted out of there. And apparently Laine wanted out of Winnipeg. Apparently he wasn't happy there. And I still see it. I still consider it a blockbuster trade. I mean, the Columbus gave up Pierre-Luc Dubois and a 2022 third-round pick. And in return, they got from Winnipeg Patrick Laine, and help me with the other guy's last name. I don't want to mess it up.
Roslovic.
Yeah,
Jack Roslovic.
Roslovic.
He grew up Columbus.
Columbus, yeah, man. So definitely a blockbuster trade in my mind. It's an exciting move. I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do in their new destinations. You know.
Yeah, a lot of word talk going on.
A lot of talk.
Yeah, a lot of stuff popping up after. So already, let's stay on Pierre-Luc. Landing in Canada. He's in Winnipeg. He was quoted on saying he's getting texts from the guys. He's been on the phone with the organization all day. He says it already feels like home. He says,
wow.
He said he's getting a really good feeling about this. He said it feels like a great move. Yeah. So he's excited to be up there. You know, he didn't really quote on the Tortorella situation on who was to blame. He didn't elaborate at least. Just, you know, he'd been there for 5 years, and the last 3 hadn't really gone the way he expected. He signed a $10 million deal and was like, listen, move me. If move me. You can't be mad at the guy. But my big thing is Laine. You heard what was going on with Laine?
What's going on? I know there's lots of things I've heard, but
Well, he won it out apparently because Blake Wheeler and Paul Maurice, was giving him shit behind everything. Apparently, they
I'd
didn't
seen
they didn't
Wheeler's
like
name
him.
pop up.
Yeah. Apparently, Wheeler is quoted on felt his position on the right side, the number one, was threatened because Laine was originally a right winger. Wheeler was also not enthusiastic that a young man from Finland would become almost as popular in Winnipeg as Teemu Selanne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, Solani number 8, sure. Okay. I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get that. Your hockey club is getting better, and that's the attitude you take.
I don't know. Apparently, Wheeler though was in particular was a master at speaking behind the backs of Finnish young men for things he certainly did not want.
That's weird. Finnish young men. Doesn't like the Finns, eh?
No, so apparently, like he wasn't catching a homie vibe there.
Look.
These guys are drafted 2-3, right behind Matthews.
Yep.
So all they did is swap. We'll see
We
what
heard a little
happens.
chirp from Winnipeg's. Or was that Columbus or Winnipeg's?
Yeah, that was
Columbus's
Columbus.
GM.
They were like, "How do you feel
Yeah.
about the trade? Easy trade. We went from number 3 to number 2.
Number 2.
This guy's already put up a 40 points, 40 goal season. Dubois hasn't done that, so it's a win for Columbus all day.
Absolutely.
I like Pierre. I like what I saw in the bubble. I think he could be another Patrice Bergeron type center. But
absolutely, because Columbus really turned it on there in the bubble.
He's got the target on him now.
Yeah, we were talking about them, and Columbus was rolling hard. We were definitely saying they were going to be a force to be reckoned with this season, and I mean, so far they really haven't turned it on all the way, and we're going to hopefully see what's going on with them.
Yeah, but around the league, word in Ottawa is Tim Stützle is looking to play against Vancouver, which is the Monday night game tonight. The only game the only game tonight at all.
On the
crazy,
tube.
right?
Yeah.
He's been out. He came in, played I think 2-3 games, may have been 4. I don't have the exact number to what game he got hurt, but scored in his second game. We know that, and
off a hell of a sauce pass for real, top cheese.
Yeah,
one hell
so
of a play.
they're looking to get him back. What else we got going on around the league, man?
So look, this is something I wanted to talk about. The rookies, coming in. So Stützle was one. We came in, we saw him not struggle, but he played and put up a point and hasn't been super productive, but he's definitely a noticeable presence on the ice. And we want to talk about Cousins from Buffalo. Cousins does the same thing, comes in against the Capitals, first game, nets a goal right away, and then he's taken out because Opaso, a vet, is ready, and he already has his spot on, Okaposo. Himalamaliki, Hamalamaloco. It doesn't matter. Akaposo.
Good recover.
So you like that?
They're not producing as well as some of these other rookies around the league, though. We got,
For sure.
in Vancouver, you got Hoaglander. He's already got 3. We just saw what the Chicago did. Suter hat trick in one game. He's at 4 points. But the real shocker is Kirill Kaprizov out in Minnesota. The kid is lighting it up, and he's not even just like doing shit that's like producing. He's making. They're fancy, but he's making.
Those are highlight reels.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. You haven't had that with Minnesota in a while,
Did you see the clip today of him working solo in practice, and he bounces it off the boards, basically sauces it to himself over top of the net, and was smacking it in? They were like Kiprusoff's working on something. Like, so definitely be ready for that.
Like throwing it off the backboard behind the net. And
so like he'd be stick handling it behind the net. He would throw it up off the glass so it comes over the net, and then he was there to smack it down.
Yo, and because the D-man's gonna be he's gonna look up.
He's
gonna look up, and he already knows where the puck's going because he just did it.
I think
50
I think that's
times.
a 3-on-3 move. That's definitely a 3-on-3.
Oh yeah,
if you got some space behind the net, let's give it a shot. But I don't see that happening in 5-on-5, but 3-on-3 definitely. But I mean, he's exciting, man. When he's got the puck, he's definitely got the silky mitts, the buttery soft hands, and he's exciting to watch, man. I enjoy watching him stick handle the puck.
No, yeah, for sure, bro. He's definitely an exciting young player. can't wait to see develop. Washington Capitals. I know that's
Yeah,
our
here we
squad,
go.
but they just dropped their new third jersey, navy blue with the W, the red and white pinstripes, white shoulders. I'm a big fan. I know it's simple.
You are.
Criticize the logo's simple, but yeah, I'm a big fan of less is more. That's how my brand is. There's no big gaudy shit. I
I
like it.
understand.
I think it's a classy look. I really like the colors though. My favorite color is red.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been so many teams that have red now to
Yep.
switch it up with that navy or that I don't know if it's navy blue exactly, but the blue.
It's like a royal or some sort.
Yeah, I like it. It's got a really good vibe with the white. I like it a lot.
Man, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I wish I was because I like the concept. I get it. I think it's a lazy concept that we just remastered the Winter Classic, in my opinion. I think that's all it is the W and the stars. It just remastered it, changed that maroon to the blue. I thought we could have done more, man. Especially with the retro reverse that we dropped. That retro.
That's what I'm saying, though. We have all these other wild jerseys.
Okay,
that
so
are
give
dope.
us a straight. That's not even that wild. That joint's just fire, son. Like that's fire. And then we get just like this looked like a Washington football team logo. W. Like, I don't know, man. We've got a great logo that we have 3 great logos in my mind that we could have chose from, and the W is not top 3.
I think because the other logos are being used, that's why they might have gone with the W. I see what you're saying, though. Yeah,
Why not bring
I'm
back?
an Eagle fan. The Eagle's one of my favorites.
Dude, that's why the retro was so fire to me. I thought they nailed that. But why not? Here's your opportunity to bring back the Capitol. Maybe bring that, if we're doing the retro this year and stuff like that. Maybe bring back that old black Capitol we had or something like that. Where was the actual Capitol building and the 2 sticks? I don't know.
Those are my jerseys when I played when I was playing roller caps and stuff. Those were our unis. We wore the black with the gold. Oh man,
yeah,
those are so nice. Those were so nice.
The gold, bro. But wait, can we jump back to rookies? Connor McMichael did end up skating for the Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
Got on the stat sheet, not in the column we expected him and wanted him to be in. Definitely taking a hack and slash there in the first period. But I don't know, man. I'm excited for his growth. He's definitely small. You were noticing that. You were like, he's a small guy out there.
Yeah, dude. I like there's small guys, and this is my comparison. Sherry is a shorter guy in the league, but he's got some mass. He's got some muscle mass. This kid didn't necessarily just look short. He just looked small. Like he didn't.
Small.
Yeah, he looked like a high school kid out amongst men. Like you can
he's
tell
what he
the
is.
size difference dramatically.
Yeah. So, I think he needs some time. He was definitely in the mix. He had 2 attempts on some tip-ins and some shots he clocked, but I think he needs some time to develop. Like you said, he needs to grow a little bit, hit the weight room with Ovi, get on some OVOs, and I think we'll be all right, man. I'm excited to see him skate and develop.
Yeah, man. McMichael is the future unless he gets fucking dealt. We'll see what happens. Seattle's coming around the corner. That's all I keep worrying about.
Scary.
It is scary. It is scary. I know we talked about this already a little bit, but Carolina's coming back. They've been sitting around fucking COVID protocol. So that's a big deal. The Caps will be playing, this releases on Thursday. The Caps are going to be playing the Bruins on Saturday. That's big news for 2 reasons. David Pastrnak, Pasta.
He's back.
Winner. He's back. Yeah, they're looking for that game to be his first game back. He's been on the ice, making contact, taking hits. Also big news, though. Charles' first game back in Boston, and I'm blown, bro. I am. I'll tell you why. This guy deserves the ovation from a crowd that all these other players have gotten when they've left and come back, and he's not going to get that.
Definitely going to have a killer tribute video.
But to an empty stadium, it's not the same. Like the fans are the ones that appreciate him most. And they're not there. We're not there.
Yeah, man. Not there. Definitely a big moment for Chara. Definitely Big Z. He's been an impact already for the Capitals, and what a legacy he dealt there in Boston. It's wild to go back home like that. It's got to be quite an experience. But like you said, I didn't really think about the damper of the empty seats with the fake crowd noise.
Yeah, and I didn't know
I didn't know the players hear the crowd noise. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they play it in practice.
Yeah, how weird is that?
It's whatever.
Whatever.
It all comes down to one big. Anyways, back to hockey. we talked about this a little bit when we were talking about the West, but I want to talk about this again. Let's talk about people leading in points and goals.
Yeah, please.
Kopitar's leading the league. Like this guy, I mean, he's a great player, but he hasn't been in the top 3, top 5 of goals anytime soon.
Right.
So he's putting up points early. I think that's a big deal for LA. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Mikko Rantanen for Colorado that was leading the league with 5 goals. He's tied. That tie is
Multiple,
between Tyler
multiple.
Toffoli, Bo Horvat, and
Travis Cockney from Philly.
Yeah, Kenichi. Did we both just say his last name wrong? Anyways, but rounding out after that tie, Nicholas Backstrom from the Washington Capitals with 4 goals, folks. Didn't think you'd hear that anytime soon, did ya?
Hello.
Ovi's at home beating his meat, and
Lord.
Nicky's putting up. Was that aggressive? Nicky's putting up. I don't care. What else is he doing? Anyways,
Nicky's putting up points, stepping in, filling the role. Exactly what we need from a veteran centerman for the Caps there, bud.
Yeah, Brock Bose. Oh my God, I'm just butchering names tonight. I have no reason why. Anyways, Connor McDavid though, he's up there, and Edmonton hasn't been playing too well. You a fan of Edmonton's game? You're an Edmonton guy. That's your West squad.
I'm a McJesus guy. I'm a Draisaitl guy. That makes me an Oilers guy because that's the Oilers squad. Hey, no, I was really hoping for more from them, but unfortunately, that's just the hand that McDavid and Draisaitl are dealt. That's all they have is each other. So we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely he's up there in points. He manages to score, but they can't. I feel like every time the Oilers play, it's a roll of the dice on how many goals is the other team going to score. It's just somewhere between 3 and 7. It's like what's going to happen. It's like they got Jose 3 or more up there. It reminds me of a former Capitals team.
Yeah, and Draisaitl already with 6 assists. McDavid with 6 assists. Like it's unreal, right? To see these guys are doing the same thing year and year, and the team just is.
And then they're unstoppable. They're unstoppable. That's that duo. I mean, McDavid is one of those forwards who's you never know what he can go any which way at any time.
Maybe
it really sucks. He's such a dangerous hockey player
for Edmonton. Maybe they're just not building around him properly.
Yeah, he's such a dangerous hockey player. Like he's so talented and the speed is relentless. The shot, the ability. It might be one of those stories. Who knows? I hope not. I certainly hope not.
Well, if not, I think he'll leave. I don't know. I mean, he probably won't. With so much pressure coming of how great he's supposed to be, and after Gretzky, there's a lot of weight on his shoulders to try to be the guy that brings the cup back.
Definitely.
But I mean, if anyone can do it, like it's him. It's almost like that he's just always going to be at a disadvantage because he's so good. Because could you imagine? And that's what the talk will be. Could you imagine if he got on a good team? Imagine we get rid of Ovi for McDavid. Just hypothetically, just a wild ass trade happens. Like, can you imagine McDavid on our lineup with the roster we have? We'd win a cup, bro. We'd win a cup.
So stupid. He's so stupid good.
Facts. Who's also good though, but is on a shit squad? Jack Eichel. That guy's is second in assists in the league, 7 assists leading.
Yeah,
and we just beat the piss out of them in a series. They getting the best of us in one shootout, but in 4 games, they can load up offensively, but they can't close out games.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Between Eichel, Hall, Olofsson, like. What I don't get it, man. They're just missing a couple pieces. It seems like,
but I mean, on the blue line too.
Yeah,
like, they're dangerous, just like us. Like we got Carly. Like they got depth. They should be. They're not closing out games. Maybe it's a goalie thing. Maybe
it's a rest of. I don't know. It's something because I mean, but it's funny, man. Watching Taylor Hall skate, he's such an in or out player. Like he's either on or he's just off. And it's obvious in the shift. To me, I know we put him in the pine a couple times. Hathaway buried him in the boards.
He did not care how much money he made or goals he scored. Hathaway beat his ass every time he was on the ice. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I thought that was a great line matchup, to be honest, too, man. Our rambunctious third line out there against their first line.
Washington roster for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, and I don't know, like, even with the roster that we had, we still managed to push Buffalo to a shootout. Like I said, I wasn't extremely worried. And I know our team's got some depth, but as the game went on, you could tell the status quo was definitely different for Washington.
Yeah. But that's happening around the league. We're seeing such high scoring games. You know what I'm saying? Like
For sure.
teams that should be, clicking that aren't. And oh man, like we just said, Edmonton, for example. But dude, we talked on stats. We didn't talk on goalies. We don't really talk on them. Shout out to our ex-cap Varlamov though. That guy is playing a year. It's the best in the league. 2 shutouts already. He's got the
Yeah.
highest save percentage at .988. His goals against is .33. Guys,
That's insane. The .33 is insane. Just hope he can stay healthy, man. He unfortunately Varlamov was one of those. His run with the Capitals, he just wasn't healthy. He was always injured with that groin. That groin plagued him, I feel like, through 2 or 3 seasons.
Baby mama drama out in Colorado.
Yeah. So you know what? It was good to part ways, but yeah, man, it's still good to see him doing well. And we always touch on this too when it comes to goaltenders. The Capitals organization produces tenders, like the tendies that come out of our division from our camp is insane.
Yeah, because who came in right after Varlamov? Grubauer, who just won a cup with the Caps the year before. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I know it's definitely exciting to see though. But him and Holt's up in Vancouver now, which is weird seeing him in the blue.
Him and Schmitty, that's kind of cool. They're probably clicking, making it easier for things for them. The league is shaping up to be a good one, man. It's any man's game this year.
For sure, dude. And definitely I think staying healthy and this protocol stuff, now we know it's not a joke. It's taken rather seriously. That the NHL is actively pursuing that type of thing. But also, man,
example of Washington.
Yeah, definitely. And then also just the excitement that these players can bring. I feel like this is the season where anyone can have a blow up season. It's such a short season. These guys are getting on a wave, man. They can really change the outcome of a couple wins. Will definitely put them in the right trajectory towards a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, bro, for sure. But that's about it around the league, man. We got a good interview coming up here. You want to bring your boy in?
Yeah, definitely. We got a interview with OGR coming up, so we're gonna roll this for you guys, and we hope you enjoy it. Thanks. All right, guys, welcome to episode 36 from Men Behind the Mitts. Today's a special day, man. We've got our buddy OGR joining us back on the show. Musician, artist, TikToker, talented, good buddy of ours, man. So happy to have you back, OGR. Man, welcome to the pod again. Do a shameless plug, man. Get everything out there real fast before we get rolling.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to be back, and if you guys want to check me out, it's OGR, and Scintilla is SCINTILLA, and I make music. I'm starting into making more beats. I'm going to be doing some vlogs and some live stuff, doing it all. Yeah, on my social media, I'm OGR_Scintilla, except for on Instagram because my whole Instagram got hacked. So I'm just OGR-SCINTILLA, no underscore on there. But yeah,
back. It's back. Dude, we love everything TikTok, the posts on IG, all the collabs, man. If for those of you guys who don't know, OGR did an episode back with us a couple episodes ago, and we brought him on. We were so happy to have him, and we had no clue what we were getting into, and it ended up being one of our favorite podcasts that we've done. One of the most fun conversations we had with you, learning and everything, man. And we didn't get to have the video, and now we've got the, hopefully fingers crossed everything's fine. Now we got the video, man. It's so good to have you back. I can't wait to catch up with you and just what's been going on, man. How is 2021 treating you off, starting off right? I know you got some things going for you.
Yeah, it's been good. Right at the end of 2020, it was funny. I was planning on taking a little social media break going into the new year. And then I posted this remix of a song because I do these Canadian remixes, take a popular song, make it about hockey and beer and Tim Hortons and stuff like that. And I took Shotgun by George Ezra and I made it about going on a trip. And that song just really popped off. That video got like 500,000 views on TikTok.
Wow, man, that's awesome.
The next like 24 hours, just pumped out like the full song, mixed the song, filmed the full video, and edited the full music video in like 24 hours and just dropped it as quick as I could. And that's up over 70,000 views on YouTube now. One of my
that's
most
awesome
videos ever. So yeah, that was really good.
That's
And
dope, man. That's real dope.
Yeah.
That's dedication too,
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
You didn't sleep. That's a lot of Joe. You had to be drinking a lot of coffee or something.
I mean, I feel like just the adrenaline of like, I'd had a big on TikTok. I had my remix of Mood pop off pretty well.
Yeah.
Really taking advantage. Like, people liked it and I got a lot of views and followers. But just like in the past, in 2020, I kind of learned that not only is quality important, but how quickly you can create it is super important in this like viral landscape. Because I think that like in the first 24 hours or like in the first week, at least, I think I got like 20,000 views. And if I would have spent the next week doing that, I mean, that video might have not popped off at all. So I've kind of realized that if I want to take advantage of a moment like that when they come around, because you never know when they're coming, you have to be on it. And that's another skill, is not just what you create, but how quickly you can get it out there.
That's something that we always talk about, man. It's just all it takes is one, you know what I mean? And you really do have to capitalize on that time frame, like you said, because dude, that we live in this 30-second world, you know, which is what's I need more, you know. So it's definitely, and like you said, when something catches fire like that, you got to run with it, and you do it so well, man. Like all of your content, it's fun, it's wholesome, you know what I mean? And since I know it's great, since I know it's coming from you, like it makes it that much better, you know, just because I know it's you. And I'm like, yeah, man, like I get it. I know his intention, you know what I mean? It's cool. Like it definitely has a good vibe, man. And I hope your following continues to grow because of that.
I definitely think that like something you touched on there, all today, I've actually been working on like my new 2021 content plan. And that's a big reason that I want to bring in a bit more live streaming and a bit more like vlog type content, because I feel like people like the songs, but I also know that when people get to know me, I just feel like it rounds everything out. And kind of when you figure out that I'm doing it because I want people to like thankful for living in a great country, or like having freedoms, or just kind of trying to create content that isn't based on politics and isn't dividing. It's more of just like, you know, cohesive and bring people together. When people see that, I think it'll just complement the content in a whole nother way.
I agree, man. You definitely provide the break from it. You know what I mean? That's important, because that's, like you said, that's unfortunately, man, that is what life has become lately, is politics, you know. And it's so nice to have people like you in that style, you know, that just to give us a break from that, because there's something we talk about too all the time, the mental health. We got to be able to be silly still. We got to be able to have fun, and we got to have a place where we can do that, you know. And TikTok, and it's one of those places where people can, I like to think of it's like my weird place, you know. I'm like, I'm getting into it. I finally downloaded it. Like I finally downloaded the app, and I've been using it like slowly but surely. And I'm like, I'm eventually going to drop something here, because I'm just like, I decided like that TikTok for me would just be all my weird thoughts. Like, I'm just going to put my weird thoughts there, you know? So like, that's just the way I'm going to use it to express it. But it's good for like, I just love that style, you know, just it provides a different lane to take your mind off of the day. So,
yeah, it's funny. I just saw like a really good video about that. And someone was saying that I think the reason that so many people are blowing up on TikTok is because they don't have this like ego about like my Instagram picture or whatever, or it has to be perfect, or else not getting enough likes. Where people just throw stuff up on TikTok, and that's the one that blows up.
Yeah,
and so validating people's weirdness, I think, which is great.
Yes, absolutely. That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing. Go ahead. So.
And I was going to say probably the relatability, like, you know what I'm saying? We just assume these thoughts of these millions of people we see that we never conversate with and don't know who they are. And to see these strangers doing shit like that's something I would have fucking done, you know, that's really where I think it also comes into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It definitely provides, to me, that's what I mean. It's my weird place. Like that's where I go and it's like, God, like some of these are solid gold and then it's like some are cringeworthy. And it's just like, how did we land? But then I always catch myself like, how did we land here? You know, it's so crazy. Cause like TikTok is clearly the new, it's like to me, like I always think of Vine. Like Vine was my shit. Like that would keep me up till 4 a.m. Like I had to be up at 6, and before you know it, I'm like, oh my God, I've been watching 6-second videos for 4 hours. Like,
Man.
but TikTok is doing that, man. That's so good though.
You remember when Snapchat first came out? Remember you couldn't tell that people were like, you could screenshot photos and all that shit, man. That was Wild Wild West back in the day.
Yeah, Snapchat was. I remember when
that was prime time. I was just hitting 21, bro. Like that was prime.
This is going to tie into something I want to talk about later because remember I was telling about negative connotations. I downloaded Snapchat like the day after one of my exes left me. I was like, fine, you know what? I seen Snapchat on her phone. I'm downloading Snapchat. But that'll bring up that.
You sound.
Well, of course, you know me. But yeah, that's going to tie into a conversation we're going to have later about negative connotations on present day life.
Saving that one, boys. He's saving that one.
For sure, man. But no, it
coming to mind, yeah.
But dude, TikTok provides that, and that's what's awesome, and definitely that's why I enjoy your content. And this is a great platform to share it on too, because I know that stuff spreads like wildfire, man. But what else took off on your TikTok? Didn't your Timmy's? That's one of my favorite ones. Is the Timmy's Hortons? I know because you got everyone involved with that, and we were talking about that before. I don't want to tell anymore. You tell the story.
Yeah, sure. It actually worked well. So I'm still kind of in the process of doing it. This week, I think I'm gonna do it. But for the Tim's Run song, I made a kind of a big post saying, hey, make a video to this song, and I'm gonna take the best videos and let's make a Tim Hortons commercial and then see if Tim Hortons will air it, sort of thing. And so far, there's been I think about 1,200 different videos people have made to this song, which is just so cool. And I mean, if you go on my social media and stuff, I've posted some of the best ones. Like someone was scuba diving with a bunch of Tim Hortons and then driving Zambonis down the street and people just rollerblading in the streets. And one of my neighbors just up the road, I didn't even know it was my neighbor until I talked to them. They were snowboarding behind a horse. Like one person was riding a horse and the other person was snowboarding behind them. And it's just so cool that so many people
do that. It's funny they do that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. They do that here in Southern Maryland too. Like the Amish, we have Amish that live in one of our counties, and we pull each other like that on like sleds and the snowboards and stuff like that. It's cool. Sorry to interrupt you. I just had to share that.
That's tight that someone's so close to you. You said your neighbor's like legit directly next door neighbor?
Yeah. I mean, well, as in next door, they're like 10 miles away, but that's
right. But I know, but I went in to make sure there's no one in between. So that's why I said it's so close. I assume there was a little bit of a distance there, bud.
Yeah. I mean, besides a couple other people in different directions, they're like a few miles down the road. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
And
for those of you who don't know, Tim Hortons is the Canadian call. It's like that is Dunkin' Donuts to America is Tim Hortons in Canada. Like it is what they run. It's like what they run on.
Timmy's is so much better. Having both coming from DC, then moving up here north.
Man,
Tim's fucking shit.
You gotta ship me a bag, dude. I've never had Timmy's.
You gotta bring your ass up here. You're just afraid you won't leave.
It's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what I like most about that song is the fact that I got so many messages from people, just of these people getting inspired by it and stuff. And I got so many messages from parents saying, this is my kid's favorite song, or from kids saying, I showed this to my parents, teachers, yada, yada. And that we all loved it. And just hearing stories of people saying that this stupid little song brought them together and actually brought some connectivity to people's lives is man, awesome. Makes me happy.
It's a good feeling, dude. You just made me happy just to hear that. Yeah, man, just when people can just unite over something just that small and everyone enjoy it, man, it's so good. And for those that don't know as well, you respond pretty much to everyone. Like you really put in the effort to reach out to your fans, your followers, and like you always communicate, man. That's one of the best things, I think. Like when you told us that last time, I was like, man, that's the best. Like
he said he went back and forth on Snapchat, right? With just all of them answering every snap.
Yeah,
it's
actually,
insane.
something I forgot to plug is my Snapchat is called
get it in.
Truff Shuff Wayne, which is like TRUPH, and then Shuff is SHUFF, and then just Wayne, because that's my same Snapchat I had from high school. And and basically, yeah, I add everyone back, and it's just like, because social media kind of sucks for showing all your posts to all your followers.
Right.
I'm getting more people on there, and just anytime I drop a song, I'll send it directly to you. And
That's
yeah,
fun.
I respond to every single message on like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I try to reply to all the comments, but if a video pops off and there's like 2,000 comments, then sometimes it's kind of hard. But yeah, for me, I feel like community and just a sense of actual human connection is something I don't want to lose. And it's really easy to focus too much on the views and the content,
Right,
opposed to the actual what the content is doing and what your actual results are, what changes you're creating in the world, right?
So would you say it's more quality over quality over quantity?
It definitely, in a sense. I think quality of message and underlying values. I try to pump out a lot of content, but I've been trying to stay away from the stuff that's sort of, you see some posts on TikTok that are like, for a while it was going around, say like, hey, they took away the share button or whatever. And then people would click the share button and it still worked, but then they'd get 1 million shares and the video blow up, sort of thing.
right.
So they didn't provide any value. They didn't get most of those videos don't get you any meaningful followers, but it's just like to see the numbers and feel your ego boost. So I don't want that type of quantity. I want a quality in terms of the effect. When it comes to how much I post or whatever, I post as much quantity as I can while trying to keep the quality high, sort of thing.
For sure.
Yeah, I was curious. I assumed it was a little bit of both too, though, just because, like you said earlier, some of the ones we've seen pop off are just the shit people are doing on the regular day. Like, yeah, I come here every day and I get this sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Something simple as that. You know.
That's me. Yeah. That's me at lunch every day. Mimi's Cafe.
Yo, chill. We've seen you. You should need to get your an OnlyFans about the way you snap, Big J.
Oh yeah, that's coming.
You be getting scandalous.
I got a lot of responses that they were upset that it actually
This little baby bottle. Oh my god!
I actually did get some responses that were upset.
Fancy ass white girl. Your little glass and bottles.
I'm about to start an OnlyFans.
Look at you. The influencer game has changed him, It's changed him, bro.
But the yeah. I got a lot of responses that were like, yo, it actually didn't swipe up. And I was like, well, shit, y'all fuck around. I'm gonna have OnlyFans. Like, I just take advantage. And my Snapchat is like another place where I just get weird too. Like, I just post like the weirdest stuff because I drive a lot, like for my other stuff, and like I always in weird places, man.
I could see your OnlyFans being wild as just like every time you take a shit, you're like, this is what y'all wanted. This is what you wanted to see.
69 cents a month.
Or like outside of a house party, just pissing on someone's truck. This is what you wanted to see. I'm an animal.
You asked for it.
You asked for it.
That's what I tell people when they want to go to the bar. I'm like, you asked for this, okay?
Yes. Oh boy, I can't wait to do that again, man.
Those demons, I keep those down.
I'm trying to go dancing. Remember I texted you like fucking 11 o'clock at night. I was drinking wine. I was like, bro, let's go dancing.
Dude, look, I go to bed early. So it's like, I'm like laying in bed. My phone dings. And I'm like, damn, who's texting me this late? And it's this guy over here. And it says, I want to go dancing.
Yo, first of all, I just want to set the record straight. I'm a great dancer, and so is Big J. And we
For
used
sure.
we used to do our thing. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
for
about
sure.
that.
And then like I'm like, what is this guy talking about? So I just geek out and I leave it as is, right? Because I know the morning text is gonna be better. And he texts me in the morning. He texts me in the morning. He's like, disregard that message. It was one of the best. I was just like, oh man, you got me with that. I was waiting for the never mind text.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we used to drop it, man. I love dancing. Dancing is one of my favorite. It's one of my funnest favorite things to do. We have the most fun memories dancing in bars, man. It's so much fun, dude.
Man, there's something so wholesome about when you can break that like seal. If there's like whatever where it's like you can get people to like start dancing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like the idiots like us who just like your friends. It's just like an empty floor, but we're just like busting moves, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, this is our guy.
Up, right? And like it's not about I feel like for me at least, there's something so wholesome about like being that goof on the dance floor and like people are laughing at you, but at the same time, I feel like they're a little bit jealous.
For sure, man. They wish they could lower their guard enough to do that, you know?
Well, I don't get no laughs over here, OGR. I don't get no laughs. My fondest memory was when I made 5 women. Ooh. Oh, man.
That bad, hey?
Hey, listen, the Cougars love me, and I love the Cougars. It's just how I rolled in that day and age, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a matured man now, but back in the heyday, if you had a mom in the group, that was my lady.
Dude. I was telling a story about the other day of just how we used to just like dance at like random house parties, like when it was actually like fun as shit, when someone would have like a dope ass basement with like tile and like everyone would just be like having a good time. We would actually dance, and I was like, damn, that was fun. We used to dance, man. Now it's like, damn, I don't even want to go to a bar anymore. It's like lame because it's like COVID and mass. It's not even worth going in, you know.
Dude,
but,
good thing about having a 2-year-old. We have dance parties every day. I get down like right before bedtime, cracking the first brewski. We're getting down, bro.
That's actually such a good point. Like I feel I've been thinking about this a lot, is like people use getting older as an excuse to just like be lame. I feel like when it's like just like people will become a parent and then be like, oh well, I can't dance anymore, or like I can't. It's like, no, like that's just, you're just using that as an excuse. Like have a dance party with your kid, or just like or just dance, you know, like there's nothing stopping you. It's all like, this is the only thing that'll ever put a barrier in your way.
Absolutely, man. That's a good way to put it.
Preaching over here. He's preaching early.
Yeah,
ain't
man. It's all about having fun, dude. That's what I'm here for, man. We're here for a good time, you know. Like, well, there's, you know, just have a good time, enjoy all the little moments. That's when then stuff like that happens too, and those memories. That's how memories are made.
Hey, I want to touch on something while it's on my mind. Last episode, we found out you're a volleyball guy. You've been playing? Have you? Are they doing that type of stuff up here?
I mean, sadly, with the whole COVID thing, I was going to be coaching a club team this winter season sort of thing. But with COVID, all the sports have been shut down. So my main physical activity has just been skating on the outdoor rink or working out at home. I haven't really had the opportunity to play sports with other people, which really sucks.
Yeah, definitely. Is it true? I wanted to ask you this, but you said ODR right away. So I saw a tweet or something like that where the Canadian officials were pouring buckets of rocks on ODRs. Is that real?
Public places, not like people's backyard rinks, I don't think. Right?
Yeah, there was a city near us called Okotoks. It was someone like broke through an outdoor rink, and like I think it was like a city outdoor rink or something.
Okay.
And they'd have whole bunch of rinks, so they were going around spraying like sand on all the rinks because of like they didn't want any legal ramifications, so they just like destroyed all of the public rinks.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I saw that and I was like, this cannot be real. Like, I was like, I hope this is fake news. Like,
it's almost to the point where we should have just like a general purpose like public waiver, where it's like, if you're going to like go out in public, these are the risks you're willing to accept and like not if you go out on a frozen lake and fall through, you won't try to sue somebody because you went to a frozen lake and fell through, and then like have to open outdoor rinks for everyone, right? Like it's just
100%.
But isn't that part of the risk? I've never even touched foot on an ODR, but I feel like that's part of the risk you assess with that type of gift and grace. You know what I mean? Like that's a
yeah.
Well, you're not gonna fall through an ODR. An outdoor rink is gonna be about short ice, but on a pond. If we're skating ponds, yeah. But they were doing these on they were doing these on like actual like
like rink rinks,
like, right?
Yeah, they were. And I think it was just one of those things where it was they made a bullheaded decision and they weren't going to reverse it and they weren't going to hear anybody's opinion, and you know, it was just done. Sort of thing.
Conspiracy thought here, is this because they're just going to slowly take away all of our fucking freedom and they're just doing it one thing at a time? Okay, all right, back on track. Yeah, man, that's a bummer.
That was they're like OGR said, it's just for insurance because
I get why they're doing it. I get why they're doing it.
But they did that.
Could have been doing that for years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the fucking whatever?
Yeah, but they did that in California where they put sand in like skate parks and stuff so people couldn't skateboard and scooter. Like how lame is that, dude? Like the one thing you can do is be outside right now. It's like be outside or do what you do, create, you know, like. Yeah. If you don't got that going, man, it's tough to do much. I can understand how people get caught in a loop, you know.
In terms of just society thoughts, I'm kind of scared for you guys in the United States. Like, I mean, we're pretty divided up here too. And to be totally honest, like there's a lot of talk where I'm from in Alberta. There's a lot of people who want to separate from Canada and make Alberta a sovereign nation. Wow. But like there's a lot of people who are just like, it seems like they're just past talking. Yeah. They just don't want to have the discussions, and no one wants to admit they're wrong, which I mean, first step. Like
it's ignorance on both sides.
I up with a creative solution where it's like, this is what we need to do and things will be fixed. I think it's pretty complicated, and I'm a problem solver type guy. So when I can't come up with a solution, start to get worried, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we talk about all the time, is it comes full circle. Anytime you talk about one topic, it branches to this topic, and then it's this topic, and then before you know it, you're all the way around, you know. And it's so difficult to do anything, and we all know that the government moves at a snail's pace regardless of what nation you're in, you know. Nothing gets done quickly. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. But yeah, man, it's the division is tough. What really sucks is that in my opinion, in the line of work that I do, I do mechanical work, but I talk to all types of people from across the city, multiple states. I'm in the DMV, so multiple states all the time. We're all the same, and this is what really sucks, is we're really all the same people, man. We're all trying to make a dime so we can have a place to live, have a car to drive, have food on the table. You know, like that's literally what we're going to work for now, especially since everything else has been stripped. Really, you know, everything else has been taken away. As far as it's not as bad. You can still get a cup of coffee and go get dinner, but if you want to cohere to all these rules, you know, but it's tough, man. It's tough to stay on track, but the division is not as deep as you really think it is. Like it's not that bad. If you just get out and talk to your neighbor, like I was
just about to bring this up. I'm glad you're
her neighbors are the best, man. Like we talk to her neighbors, and you know, we're of all different ethnicities on this street. Like literally all four neighbors right here we're all different. And it's so great because we all talk. Every time we walk the dogs and stuff, we always talk. We yell across the street. It's a good time. Like it's really not that bad because, man, I'm telling you, if all we need is love. That's all I'm going to say. Love.
That's. I wanted to bring that up too, man. I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna. He's an outsider looking into our country, and you know what I'm saying. So to hear him say he's worried, then he's seeing the media we're seeing. So obviously we should be fucking worried what they're showing us. And I just wanted to say, like, it's not like that, bro. I go to Target. It's not like that. People are smiling, they're helping each other when they can. You know, they're being respectful. Like it's not like that. I have had this conversation with my mom. You know, she was like, you know, I haven't been out in a while because of COVID. I'm like, Mom, go out. Get some fresh air. You'll see people are living their lives. Everyone just wants to get along to be able to get through the day to do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like we all need everybody. You know, like it's not like that. So it is wild to see an outsider's perspective saying like, yo, it's shit. And it is shit. But at the same time, like at the end of the day, everyone realizes like, bro, we're all humans here.
Yeah.
That's really
There's a lot. I mean, there is division because like like what we see it, it's always blasted on the social media and on the news. They just always make it out to be the worst case scenario. Like I said, and I travel through DC daily. Like I'm in DC daily. It's not as bad as made it out to be. But the problem is just that the Twitter sphere is so brutal, and everyone thinks that that's really what it is, and it's not, but like what you were saying with politicians and people want to separate, you're right, man, because what people are seeing is just people just want to be left alone at the end of the day. All we want to do is make a buck, make sure our family's safe and healthy, and we just want to live. It's not that we don't ask for really much, especially when this pandemic started. You realize that you don't really need that much to maintain. You really don't. And you realize that you're spending X amount going out here and X going here. And now you're like, holy shit, I can really make things happen. That's the way I know we looked at it. Because I mean, this all started during the pandemic. So it's definitely, we saw something, Jesse saw something where we could take advantage of time and stuff like that. And that's what we decided to do. But it's really, man, I'm telling you, everyone is the same. Everyone's a week late on their truck payment. Everyone's, everyone wants the fillet, but they grab the flank. Like we're all the same, like we really are the same. And that's one of the things that we enjoy about this too, is this pod, is we can talk about all that stuff, because it is important, man. And unfortunately, like you said, corruption is where this comes from. And it's so deep, and it starts, like you said, this is 40 years old. These politicians in the States have been in the office for 40, 50 years, and they've made no changes then. What do you think now all of a sudden they're going to make changes now?
Well, I would argue that it goes, like, I just watched this video that was just called like the history of the earth or whatever.
Yeah.
And it goes through all the different empires, like growing and crumbling. And it's like, this empire controlled all of Europe, and then like, oh, it got corrupt and crumbled. And just like, I feel it's a deeply human thing to have certain groups of people sort of just want to have a whole lot of stuff. And most people are really happy, like you said, to live a good life and not take too much. But it's when that, I don't know, and that's why it's such a complicated problem, because it's not our problem. Like this seems like a deeply human thing. And when the answer, like you said, it's those are the most complicated problems, when the answer is so simple, like everyone just love each other and treat each other with respect. It's such an obvious answer, but we struggle so much with it. So it's like, how do we, if we can't grasp such a simple thing, how do we do this, right? Like, how do we get everyone to just be 3% nicer to each other?
Right.
Or
mushrooms.
It's for real. It's funny that you touched on how deeply rooted it is the fact over different empires, and we've seen Roman. It's like, wow, they had everything and it just crumbles. And we actually talked about the breakdown of time and like words and things. And just one word I wanted to bring up real fast, as we were texting about this the other day, is like, I was like, we were I can't remember what the first time we were talking about, but I remember I was like,
we were talking about like words or spells.
words or spells, like when you say things, and like there's different meanings and secret meanings to everything. And it's like, where did this start? Like, who had the idea? Like, the first word I ever learned about that was one of these words, was the word morning. Like, good morning. Like, morning is a state of depression and grief. Why am I starting my day by saying good morning, or not even good here in the States? A lot of people just say morning. Like morning. And it's like, it is actually morning, or is it the rise of, like, what it's one of those words where it's like, that is a spell to me. Like, I think that's one of those things where it's and a big thing here is like, when you always greet someone, everyone just gives a bullshit answer. It's like, hey man, how you doing? Oh, hanging in there, and everyone, it always sounds like shit. Or a big thing in here is always like, oh, I'm living the dream. It's like, no, like we're not. It's like
Mine's another day in paradise.
Yeah, another day in paradise. Same shit, different toilet. It's just like, it's one of those things, and where I try not to do that. Like I always try to put a spin on it. I always try to say hi and hello versus good morning. Like it's one of the things I try to stay. The first thing I don't say is good morning. I'm always like, hey, hi, hello, or then good morning.
I'm on the search for that still, by the way. I've been watching a lot of YouTube rabbit tunnels that have just taken me on long journeys, but I have not found out like where this originated from.
Yeah.
Like who took, like, how did we find out that these words, every single word we say carries weight to our consciousness?
Yeah.
To the fact that we want to hide spells inside of meanings that people are going to use daily. That's deep.
I could find the name. I forget the name, but there's a philosopher who famously sort of coined language as a system of broken metaphors. Words are all like, words don't exist. You can't hand me a bowl full of words, right? Yeah. And they're all pointing towards something that is real. So when I say cup, like the word cup is not cup. It's just referring to that real thing, sort of. So there's this kind of interesting paradox. We think about words as being the thing, but they, like the thing is what you see and what you experience, and the words are just pointing at that thing.
Yeah.
And
so let me put a spin on it. So basically, when you said cup, it's funny. I pictured a cup, you pictured a cup, and you pictured a cup in your head.
Yeah.
And we all three pictured a different fucking cup.
Exactly.
And that's why it's a cup to you is a cup to me. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things where it's all you can do is sum it up. It's the best way to sum that thing up. It's like we can all agree that it's a cup, but it's all going to be a different cup. And it's like you said, everything's just an adjective for something else. It's weird. But it's crazy. I mean, the brain named itself. Like, let's just start there. Can we start right there? The brain named itself. The brain named the whole entire body. What? You want to start there? You know what I mean? It's weird to think about it like that way. If you want to jump back to that.
Well, just to put a bit of a context, because I feel like we're getting into some good conversation. My New Year's resolution this year has been to meditate every day. And so far, I've meditated at least 10 minutes every day. And I'm using an app from a guy named Sam Harris. And I've come to some really dope conclusions about just like consciousness sort of thing. And sort of getting out of that sort of ego space where you identify with your thoughts. And in terms of like the brain naming itself and stuff, I've always kind of felt this, but like I'm pretty convinced now. I feel like free will is an illusion.
Okay, wait, time out. Before we dive into that, before we go, no. All right, continue. Free will is an illusion. Okay, take me for this ride.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, essentially, if you're familiar with just like a bit of biological determinism, it's sort of like Pavlov's dog. You train the dog. When you ring the bell, he comes for food. You teach the dog to salivate, and that sort of concept in theory could be sort of what makes us do everything. Like we are always just responding to stimulus in our environment. But people have tested that because they feel, well, I have thoughts, right? Like those are mine, and like I can generate original thoughts. But essentially, when you just like practice a bit of meditation and start to pay attention to what it's actually like to think, you start to realize that, and this is the kind of the little phrase that does it for me, is like, you can't think a thought before it has been thought. Like before it appears in your mind, you can't choose what thought to think. So where does that thought come from?
Holy shit. Okay.
And does it feel, are you free to choose what thought will arise next in your mind?
Yeah, aren't you? I think you are, based off with your decisions in life, right? The things you're doing daily decide your thought process.
That's what he's saying.
When you
He's
say
saying
decisions, do you mean like a kind of swirling of ideas in your head, like mulling over ideas in your mind? Because before you start mulling over that idea, it just came into your brain. Like if you were trying to figure out, I don't know, even say I was sitting here and I just realized, oh crap, I forgot to do this, and then I go do it. Like I didn't consciously choose for that thought to pop into my brain. And even if it pops in and I go, should I sit here? Should I not sit here? Like I can hem and haw over it as long as I want. But those are all just thoughts that are spontaneously arising out of just like the chemical reaction inside my brain.
Yeah, man. It's
an idea that's really hard to grasp because it's like, it's kind of, you know, it crushes your ego, right? Like to think like you don't control what you're thinking.
It's weird because I think about that all the time where I'm just in like an auto mode. It's pretty much what I call it. Like I come home, I let the dog out, I do the dishes. I'm like, oh, what do I want to make tonight? And I pick what I want to make, you know, and you know, and then it's just I do this, I do that. And it's not because it's just one of those, it's repetitious, you know, so it's there. And what's something, it's funny that you bring up the original thought, like when I listened to I was brought up on another podcast a couple of weeks ago, like original thought process. And I was like, I was struggling with when's the last time I had an original thought? I was like, holy shit. I was like, how often does that really happen? And when I dug a little deeper, and it's funny that the reason why I wanted to stop you first is because meditation was something that we talked about before you came on. I had abandoned, and I said this was something that was a big deal for me. I was only using meditation as a tool to calm down. I wasn't using meditation to focus on myself and my time. So I had abandoned my personal time with meditation, and I was only using it to, like, if I got mad or something was bothering me, just to settle down. So that was something I promised. That was a goal, and I'd been working on it. Like I've been digging deeper on different thought aspects, or different aspects of thought on other things. But we can stick to this topic first. But I've thought about this where I was like, where does that come from? Like, and that's where I try to find out. I'm still trying to find out who I am, you know, after all these years of me being me. We're still searching for that. And I feel like that's where it comes back to.
What do you mean by original thought? What do you mean by original thought?
Like Silky Misaki Club. That was an original thought idea that
I have a creative, like, that's just like so that's what I was thinking you meant, but I was like, what now I feel lost, like, because I have these original thoughts like daily, like different shit like I'm constantly.
So that's what I was saying. So do I, and that's when because we text a lot about it. Like I'm like, oh, let's do this, let's do that. Yeah. Because like we all three of us have that creative side. Some people don't have that creative side. Some people don't have where they can, like, and that's why I like to, because I consider it being weird. Like that's where I put my thoughts out, and like sometimes I'll record my stuff on Snapchat, or like, you know, like I send you videos and you're like, whoa, that was really funny. Yeah. Like, no joke. And you were like, man, truly, that was good. And I'm like, yeah, that's just between me and you, though. Like, I would never put that out there, like what I did, you know, but it's just like that's the thought, because sometimes I test those thoughts to see if it's anything. And that's I use, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm glad you defined original thought, because to me, like, I personally believe that there is no original thought. Okay. I feel like, in terms of thought, everything that you think is a type of innovation on past, like, memories and experiences and learned, like, sort of like phenomena, except for maybe, like, I mean, some transcendental breakthrough, just because, just for example, like, everything I think is spoken back. I have like an internal narrator. Right. I think in the English language, which is something I learned. Like, that is not innate to me. That is not innate to my biology. Like, even all of my ideas are being presented in terms of a system someone else invented. Right. And like, it's like kind of in that sense. But I mean, in what you're talking about, the original ideas of just like, why not try that? You know?
Right. So I get on the first side you're saying, so it's like yeah, like we wanted to do a podcast. We weren't the first people to think of podcasts. That's not an original thought. But what is original thought is Men Behind the Mitts. Like that's an original thought. So and that's where, and like yes, like there's other clothing brands. Yeah, we're not the first person that, like, Jesse's not the first person to come up with a clothing brand, but he landed on Silky Mitts Hockey Club. Like that's his original thought. And that's the difference that I see all the time is you're right. It's like, you know, like yes, I'm not the first person to drive this car or do it this way, but it's the way that I did it that makes it my original thought. So that's the way I process it, because in the aspect, I kind of get what you're saying, where it's either the thought has always been there, or like it's a predetermined or predestined, however you would put that into your own terms. And that's the way you might see it. So if you believe that thought is already ingrained from day one, you know, like from when you came on, that's absolutely fine too, because that's sort of and I guess to compare that would be like Christianity, where as if you knew God already has your whole life planned. He knows you're going to make the bad decision. He knows you're going to do that if you choose to believe that. Where to me, I'm a mix of things where I go a lot off my energy. And that's why when I have an idea, I embrace it. And the first person I usually text about it is him or my girl. And I'm like, what do you think of this? You know, and that's something that I embrace with that. So like I get it. It's a good thought, but I don't know if I can say there's no original thought, though. I feel like that's taking from, I even feel like that's taking from a creative, like you're robbing your creative side from yourself, if that makes sense, like in that aspect.
I think I agree with you, but I feel like it's maybe not as like it's not as like negative as it might sound at, because like one thing is, I don't think that paths are necessarily like scripted or predetermined by a higher power. Your choices still matter. It's just that you aren't necessarily at the very forefront making every decision. And what that does basically is connect you to the influences of excuse me, of the people around you and of like your ancient ancestors. Because the way I think of it is, it's like there's not a bunch of individual free consciousness, like people running around doing their own thing. It's like all of our choices are all impacting one another, influencing all of our choices all the way back to like the ancient past. And the things we do right now are going to directly result in amazing things that happen 1,000 years from now, sort of thing. So it definitely does diminish my personal role. Like it's definitely a sort of ego death type idea, where it's like it's less about my idea and I'm coming up with it. No, it's like everything and everyone gets a bit of credit for what I do, but I'm also connected to everyone else. And like every person who saw my video and smiled, like I made that person smile, right? Like we're not just individual people, we're all connected with the things we do and say. So you just brought it full circle on how I feel that's how we should use our lives in general. Like I think like it's not just like like the ego death is real, and I think about that. I still think about it all the time, where that's not a priority. And like you said, it's not about the like or something like that, but the impact that you made on somebody else. But not to think of it as, oh, look, and I earned this. That's not the point. The point is to share that good. It's just the way I see it.
I'm gonna rewind this really far back, and I'm gonna play the burnout. The original thought thing, getting back to that, like, so you're basically saying the thoughts that I have are predetermined basically off the heritage that I had, like my ancestors, were they more doing this or doing that?
Well, a combination of your genetics and then also whatever experiences you had, because
like your past traumas and everything else, it directs decision making,
and the way your parents brought you up, and just every single thing you've ever experienced is super cool. Apparently some neuroscientist was saying you never actually forget memories. everything you've ever seen and experienced is in your brain. What diminishes is your ability to recall memories,
Right.
like to get that memory and bring it to the forefront of your consciousness.
Mhm.
Is that something you can change?
I mean, it's basically just, they were talking about aging, where it's
Okay.
like you don't lose memories. Like your memory doesn't evaporate out of your brain. It's still there. It's just your ability to recall it. And I feel like consciously, all of those things, like if I were to ask you, just like tell me the name of a movie, you probably won't tell me the name of a movie that you didn't know existed, right?
Right.
So like you can choose which movie you want. There will be something happen in your brain and it'll spit out a movie, right?
Right.
But of like the free will of it, you are very bound by your genetics and your experience, sort of.
But then I could have, if I didn't come up with anything, I would have made something up. So therefore, that would be an original thought because I'm lying, right? If I would have been like, yeah, the Brown Brothers. That's not a real movie. I don't even know if that's a movie, but that's right. Am I on track or am I still I'm still off in left field?
I thought of one of my favorite movies immediately.
Oh, shit.
No, I think when he said it the first time about no original thought, I didn't take it negatively because I was like, ooh, I can't wait to hear the spin on it. You know, I wanted to see where you're going to go with it.
What I would say is, before I asked you to come up with a movie and you have decided to come up with a fake movie, before I had asked you that question, you didn't know that was what you were going to say.
Yeah.
Like something in your brain said, I think I should come up with a fake movie.
So you're saying, like, if I'm in the middle of a conversation and I think of something like I did about the audio track I asked you for, that just popped in my head.
Yeah. It just appeared that
I don't
way.
get to determine that gets chosen as the thought that pops up.
Spit out, right? Like that idea just poof.
So is that altered maybe by the things in our life? Is there, you know what I'm saying? Like the TV we watch, the books we read, right?
Everything, I think.
Yeah. The people, especially like the people we're around, like you said, I mean, me and Jay talk about that all the time. Your circle, the people you're around really can affect where you go in life.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think in an even more sort of like profound sense, the things around you and the people around you are a part of your brain, because say, for example, your stomach sends a signal to your brain to produce more hormones or something so that you can digest food in your stomach. That sort of internal response that's going up to your brain is essentially the exact same thing as some light coming into your eyes or some sound coming into your ears that then makes your brain cause a certain, like, behave a certain way.
Yeah.
So when you say something and it goes into my ears, like, you are directly connected to my brain chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, even though you're not wired into nerves, the word you say is directly affecting what my brain thinks and feels. And like, we're all sort of not to get too hippie with you, but we're all sort of like one organism in a sense.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
That's why I said we really are all the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we're all the same. Like, we all have the same desires. You know, like, we really truly do. The bare necessities and then a couple pleasures. You know, like, we all have that desire. Man, but it.
Another thing I've thought of is, like, I guess a way to put it, if you want to think of all of us as like a certain organism, is like, does a single cell in your body have free will? Right. It's
like it doesn't get to decide. It's like, you know what? I'm not gonna do this today. I'm done.
Because it's just like, it doesn't mean that your choices don't matter or that what you do isn't important or your path is just predetermined. It just means we're all connected, sort of thing.
Yeah,
for sure. This reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Avatar. Like, for real, like, the way they just connect in, like, you know, we are one thing away from that, like, just being able to connect and just have thought, you know, like, just we're so close to that. And I think once we have that, and we're people once we're so sorry, there's so many thoughts about this. We're so close to self-understanding that empathy is not even going to be a word anymore, because that's you're going to be able to feel that. Like, you're going to be able to feel the way that I feel. And you're like, holy shit, that's a big deal to this person. Or you can be able to tell someone's pure joy. You know what I mean? I feel that's the next step in evolution, right? Like, being able to feel we're this close. The only thing that separates us is our own thought, you know? I feel like we're right there. And to really get fucking lost on that, I mean, that's where I feel that's the next step is. That's the next step is being able to lock in with each other's thought processes.
So like I can just walk up and be like, damn, Josh is horny and hungry as hell.
Yeah, basically, like you're not gonna be able to read, like, yeah.
And then I can just be like, bro, you want to grab a bite? Yeah, bro, I ain't eating all day. I know. We vibing, bro. We vibing.
Yeah, like you'll just look at me and you're gonna be like, grub, and I'm gonna be like, grub, and we're gonna go grub. Like, that's what we're gonna do.
Or we won't even have to talk. We'll just look at each other.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. We're gonna be able to look at each other and function. That's the whole thing with Elon Musk and hooking in. But hopefully we don't have to have a device to do that. Hopefully we can just access a part of our brain that exists. Wow, that's weird. But yeah, that'd be cool.
Honestly, like, I feel like a lot of times language gets in the way. I mean, sometimes it just depends on the person you're with. But I've been with people where,
for sure,
you know, you get with the right person, that just happens, right? For whatever weird reason. And I guess, yeah, I don't know if it's just the right person or what, but sometimes words get in the way of that stuff. It's almost like when like before language existed or whatever, that when they like lightning struck a tree and you saw that, and it's like there was no need to go back and explain it. The seeing and the feeling of it is like,
right.
Sometimes when you try to explain something, you get farther from the thing, as opposed to, you know, if you're both hungry and you just see it, you could like, instead of like, you know, like it's sometimes it's
absolutely. So look, man, this kind of shifts into one of the topics I wanted to talk about for like 2021, and that's with this thought process. So what I've been doing is every time I've kind of interact with somebody, or even just on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, I try to look at the person who either I see or who posts that, and I just remember, like, I look at them, I'm like, oh, this was a child once, you know, like, and I always think about that. I'm like, this person was just a child once, and because I think about how I feel, like, you know, like I'm in my 30s physically, mentally. Can I even put an age on my mental state because of because of the thoughts that I have? Like, I would just say I'm just on this wavelength. If anything, I'm not, you know what I mean? Because yes, of course I pay my bills, but that doesn't define me as a mature adult because I can pay a bill. That just maybe that shows me as a functioning adult, you know, but it's just the thought process of that. And I think that ties into stepping out of the comfort zone. And that's what I mean. It all comes full circle on, we took that original thought and ran with it. But that, I wanted to see what you thought about that. Like, when you look at people sometimes, or like when I see someone who's mad and I'm not mad, I'm like, oh man, take it easy. It's really not that bad. But then I think about them. I'm like, well, damn, I would be kind of mad. Or, you know, like, it's one of those things where if you just put yourself to try to feel what they're feeling, you know what I mean? Does that, do you ever look into that when you see someone? Like, I
definitely see that. And for me, I mean, I've always been someone who, like, in some ways I was ahead of my age, and in other ways I was like a real late bloomer. So I've always sort of thought about things in terms of, like, say, like spirituality or whatever. Right. I feel lots of 50 and 60-year-old people who are as much or more lost spiritually with like their sense of belonging in the universe than I am. But when it comes to, say, career or like relationships, like when I was younger, I always felt like I was more focused on like me and figuring out who I was. And I didn't really like date a lot of people or whatever. Some people, that's like how they do that. They're
right, absolutely
really focused. They're just driven to like, I need to start a family. I need to like do this. And I was just like, no, I really want to figure this out. So
absolutely,
I feel like it's sort of like standardized testing or something, where like you get one grade, which is like your age, but that doesn't really reflect, like, maybe I'm really good at this part and really bad at that part, sort of thing. Where, so just like looking at someone's age and going, oh, this is the way they should be
Right.
is sort of it's lazy,
naive.
I think.
It's ignorant as well, because you're talking to two people that found their paths late in life too, and we're still creating our path. Like, we're far from done, you know. And like, this is something that I dreamed of, and as did Silk, you know. And here we are. And it's the same with my actual career, you know. Like, I didn't really I bounced around a lot with jobs and stuff like that. I chased money, and I did things, and so did Silk, because we were good at it, you know. We were good talkers. We could relate well, and sometimes we used that negatively to make a buck. I know I did, you know. And that's why I stepped away from it. I remember one day it snapped in my head where I was like, I can't do this anymore. You know, I got to find something where I earn it because of my work. I'm not taking from someone else or just earning it because someone else spent money, you know.
Yeah, we definitely manifest this quickly.
Yeah.
Like, speaking back on the meditation thing you guys all brought up, like, that was one of the things for me too, was doing meditation more. And I've chosen to do it first thing in the morning. I roll out of bed, I meditate, and it's been able to just, even though they're not my thoughts apparently now, I have my thought process throughout the day is just, you know, so much better. So at the end of the day, when I lay my head down again and I kind of start to go back into that state, it's like, say it was overall a good day. Like, it was a great day. I don't have any of those bad days anymore just because of little things that can affect me, you know, or my thought process.
If you don't mind answering this question, what does meditation look like and feel like to you, and what sort of practices do you use? Because I feel like the methods that work for me might be different for you, and it'd be need to get your perspective there.
For me, it's trying to just focus. I start with focusing on my breathing, just trying to eliminate all the junk that's going on. And I just, every time I can bring if I start to slip away, every time I can bring myself back, I feel like that's like a little check mark. That's a push up, you know, and I can just focus again and just no thought at all. And just almost separate myself from my body. Almost, it feels like, cause I have no feeling in my finger or anything. I'm just there. And then I start to have some thoughts and I bring it back and I focus on my breathing and then I do it again. It's just like it's like doing push-ups, a set of push-ups in my eyes. That's meditation for me right now, but I just started this stuff.
No, it's funny. We talked about this on one of our early episodes. It had to be early, like 4 or 5 or 6 or something like that. But I remember because I had explained to you that, or we just talked about getting into it. So when you said, what does meditation look like to you? A lot of people see, you know, you have to be in a room, yoga mat, you need to have a candle lit, it needs to be dark, you know, you have to have a setting and I explained this. I don't feel like that. I meditate daily, almost everywhere. I can be anywhere. I can do it while driving with my eyes open, you know, like in a state or what I consider meditation, because like I said, I use it as a tool and I use it as an escape, you know. So, but really when I try to find myself, I love during the summer, a hammock. It's one of my favorite places to be. Just breeze. We have a wind chime. It's beautiful. You know, it kind of just relaxes me. But man, anywhere I can find time to work, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever, just to be with myself. And man, I go over my little mantra in my head, and like I do what Silk does is I breathe it out. First I have to count my 6, you know, I'm 6 in, 6 out. And I have to stick with that. And sometimes I'll get a little astray. Like things will pop up because I do have a second. Like I forgot to do something with work or something like that. But then I bring myself back. But man, that's something that I try to focus on. Is I never want the stigma to where you have to be somewhere to meditate. Like you can do that anywhere. You can do that in a passenger seat, at work. Take 30 seconds. To me, I think you can do it anywhere. But like I said, to reach a state, and that's maybe something you can help me describe as well. I don't have to reach a state of meditation, if that makes sense. Like if that, to me, just taking that time to myself and clearing my mind and just helping myself get recentered. And then if an idea comes up, I mean, that's meditation to me.
I totally agree. And to me, like, I forget the Buddhist word for it, but that's sort of like quick and very like the meditation that just is like being present in the moment. Sort of like even now, as I like, if I want, I can talk and look at you while I am in state of like presentness. And for me, it's funny because I always struggled with the breath. And I felt like, I know for a lot of people it works, but the idea of like pushing a thought away was just very abrasive and like I couldn't do it, sort of thing. And one thing that I think this new sort of program has helped me like get way more consistent with my meditation is the idea that you don't have to push the thought away. You just have to recognize that you're thinking. And one of the big things is that that's really cool is to recognize thoughts as just another thing arising in your sort of field of consciousness. And that was really important for me because I would try to focus on the breath and get a little bit too focused, and then I would kind of get caught up in the act of like thinking and focusing on my breath,
right? Yeah,
without like the way they describe it is the breath is a good way to train your focus.
Yeah, I was just that's a good starting point if you can.
It's a
start
great
there. Just learn how to control that breath.
I really love like eyes open visual field because for whatever reason I love color, and when I sit and just like take in everything I'm seeing, it really allows me to like kind of pop out of my thinking brain, and just suddenly I feel my body, and like if a thought comes in, I recognize the thought. I don't sort of become the thought or whatever. It doesn't take over my whole thing. And I know that's, like you said, a lot of people have a stigma where meditation is eyes closed, quiet.
Right.
Like you can be in like the middle of a construction site.
I've meditated in a boiler room before, so.
And I think that's, to me, it's kind of interesting. A lot of people think meditation is something you do. For me, it's more like if I stop thinking, I'm always meditating, but then I start thinking and it kind of wrecks it. It's like meditation is the ground floor.
As zero gets ground zero.
Yeah. And that's what you're trying to do, is just return to like your base level state.
Right. If you ultimately, if you remove everything, because everything is because of something else. Like literally everything we have is because of something else that brings us stress, is because of something that we've done. And that's why ground, like you said, ground zero is a good place to be. Imagine if we had nothing, that's where it would be, and that's something that like Silk said, is I try to focus on a lot of times. And it's funny because it kind of ties back in, like you said, the division stuff earlier in the political stuff, regardless of how people feel about a nation, and especially America, and people say this is a terrible place and all this stuff, man, and you've got it there where you're at as well. But I had a talk with someone in my family the other day. It's like, do you have a roof? Like, do you have a door? Like, do you have water? Like, you have water, you have a restroom, like you don't have to go outside or use a bucket, or you have a restroom, you shower, and you have a box that keeps food cold. Like, how I think we've got it pretty fucking good. Like, we've got a box that can heat up food in a minute. Like, that's how good we got it. We got spaceman food. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you take it down to that, and it's something that I appreciate, is because like I have got family in Spain, and that my great grandmother lived like in an adobe hut, like without running water and things. That's like, I've seen that firsthand. And for someone to think here is terrible, and I'm like, wow, like you really have no clue to what you have and what to be thankful for and what to be grateful for, and it's unfortunate that sometimes that's what drives the narrative,
Yeah. And I think that's like, perspective is just, people don't realize, and I try to remind people this, that happiness is a choice. Like in any moment, any time, if you want, especially if you learn to meditate, you can choose to be happy.
Absolutely.
And on the contrary, you can choose to be miserable.
Yep.
And I think the trouble is not that people are choosing to be miserable, it's that they don't know they're making that choice.
Yeah.
That's where, to me, meditation comes, where it's like you're making these choices without realizing you're making them. Like you see something that pisses you off and you get angry. You don't realize that you just made a choice. Like your brain just told you to do that, and you just did it instead of realizing that thing makes me angry. what do I want to do? Like
Yeah.
people they aren't conscious of their thought process.
And what's worse is
Yeah.
and what's worse is that people take that perspective and they cleave to the things that make them angry instead of like you could choose to be happy. Like you could choose to go elsewhere, focus an ounce of your energy on something positive, and that's something that I talk a lot about too, is just being positive. And like, I choose to be positive. I choose to say hello. I choose to read someone's name tag. Like today I checked out of the store. Catherine was wonderful. Like she checked us out at the register. She was great. And I said, "Hey, Catherine, how are you?" Why else wear a name tag? I'm going to read it. It's one of those stupid things. Like I like to acknowledge that person. She's got a life. And what's funny as shit, just to be talking about thought process, this woman is scanning groceries and I'm looking at her and I'm looking at my girl and I'm looking at the line and I'm like, she's got to scan about 2,000 more fucking things today. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and I was looking at her and I'm like, watching her do it. She's got a mask and the gloves on. And I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, I wonder what she's thinking about. She's probably thinking like, I can't wait to make this dinner tonight. I can't wait to see my kid. Like, and I'm just like, and I'm sitting here like, I can't wait to make this chicken dinner tonight. Like, you know what I mean?
But that's what I was saying earlier, that everyone needs each other. We need to respect each other.
Yeah, man.
You're going to start doing every little thing. You know what I'm saying? No.
Right.
We all need each other in every little aspect.
One thing I was thinking about the other day that's pretty disappointing is that, well, it's not so disappointing as just, I think it's important to think about, is how it's very hard to make money off of the idea that you can just choose to be happy with nothing, right? That like anywhere can choose to be kind and be happy, just like that. Yeah. It's like there's no marketing model to be built around that, really, because I don't need to make you think you need anything extra. Right. And I think that could be a part of where we find some misery, is the constant bombardment of, why aren't you happy? You need this. You need this. And not to be like, I'm the last one to be like, just like shit on our society and capitalism as just like the worst ever. Because like you said, I have a fridge and a microwave and a house. And that's because the society we live in. So like, that's good. But there's also a lot of things that, I don't know, pull us back into our head and make us think unnecessary things, I think. For sure. No, I agree, man. It's going on. I do it a lot with just like, you have to subscribe to me. You have to, like, you should, maybe you would be happier if you shut off your phone and went outside. Maybe you shouldn't keep my videos, like, even though I want to make people happy with that, but it's like, no one needs it. Absolutely, man. It's funny. Like it's weird to think about the aspect of how that affects your daily life, like just the thought process you can have. Cause like you said, you can choose to be miserable. And it's funny, I'll catch myself. Cause like I had COVID. So when January started, I caught COVID right on the new year. And I had a lot of goals I was ready to smash. And I was like, shit, everything just got bumped right off the break. I was like, this is not how I want to start 2021. So like I was in a rut, man. I had 2 weeks of, mine was like 16 days. I was exhausted and I was like, man, I'm not working. And I couldn't do anything else. I wasn't able to focus on anything. Like it was the weirdest thing where it didn't affect me. Like I wasn't sick. I wasn't coughing. I wasn't, my lungs didn't hurt. I was very lucky to be as well as I did. But damn it, was I exhausted. Like I was just fatigued. My body hurt. It felt like I got in a car accident every day. And and I just couldn't drive myself to do anything. And it was depressing because I'm a person who I like to be active. I like to skate. I like to be, on Instagram. I like to be making videos. I like to be doing that stuff. And man, I couldn't even muster up the energy to focus on a thought. And if I did, I would almost get sick. I'd be like, oh my God, I can't even use my brain. It was just, it was a really weird derailment, but man, pulling out of that and just and I knew and I just kept saying all right, just, a little bit more time and we back to myself, but man, it was a really whack way to start. But now it feels like that was last year and it was 2 weeks ago, just the way I'm thinking about this year already. It's like, oh, that happened a long time ago. That's just the way I'm trying to process things. I listened to that song on Friday and I'm like, it feels like, I'm like, that song, I'm working on something. And it's like, that's even something good, right?
Right. It's funny because I was like, man, I hope this is still relevant. Like, like, sorry, I guess I was like, I hope this is, man, I hope you still want to talk about this one.
No,
Like,
but yeah, man, I'm glad you got better, and I'm glad you didn't have
definitely. Thank you, man.
Situations.
Yeah, definitely. It's like I said, it affects everyone differently. Like one of our neighbors in the neighborhood was, on a ventilator and was in the ICU for 2 weeks. Like he was not doing well, and luckily myself and my girlfriend, like she got it, and it's affected her a little bit differently. Like she was actually sick, and I think she's definitely got some lingering effects as well. Like she still can't catch her breath sometimes, and she feels fatigued and stuff like that, and then she's definitely being affected by it differently, which makes it that much more crazy in my mind. That what'd you say? I'm sorry.
Could you taste?
No, so my taste is off and my smell is off. Like my smell is pretty much gone. Yeah, like I don't know if you heard the story about the blue coffee, but like I almost drank like a detergent cleaner through a coffee machine because I couldn't. Like I took a sniff. Yeah, like I didn't taste it. Luckily, someone stopped me before I tasted it. But like I was like, oh, it doesn't. I was like, I sniffed it. I was like, well, I guess it's a hot liquid. Like it's really weird, man. Like I get my sense of smell is off. It sucks. Like,
man, you would have been on the national news.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 7-Eleven would have owed me money.
Super sick from like.
Oh yeah, dude. Like literally. So just to give you a quick breakdown. So like I walk into the 7-Eleven and there's I was getting a cup of coffee and I saw this. It? Yeah, so I'm at 7-Eleven, like, and then I come around the thing and there's all the coffee machines and I see this new blue container. It's called Power Coffee. And I'm like, well, fuck, who doesn't like more power in their coffee, right? So I read the thing. It's like BC, like vitamin B, all this stuff. And I look at this guy and he's got a cup of coffee and he works there and he's an Oriental guy. And he's like, I'm like, is this good? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, good coffee, powerful, like good for you, strong. And I'm like, all right, man. So I'm like, I'll give it a shot. And I pull the lever and this blue liquid comes out. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like blue coffee? And I look at him. I'm like, blue? I'm like, blue coffee? And he's like, yeah. He's like, good for you. I'm like, all right, man. Like blue coffee. And I pour it and I'm like, why is it fucking blue? Like and I was like, I guess it's 2021 blue coffee. Here we go. And I look at him and I'm like, blue coffee. He's like, yeah, blue coffee is good. I'm like, all right, dude. So I start putting creamer in it. And I smell it, and I'm like, I guess it's fucking blue coffee. I don't know. And literally, like, right as I'm getting ready to put my lid on it, this Oriental woman who worked there, she comes around. She's like, oh, no. Like, she knew, like, she saw me do it. She's like, I was cleaning. And I was like, oh, my fucking, I was like, dude, I almost drank a whole cup of detergent. I would have had no clue. Like, no clue.
This is the second time I've heard it on a podcast from you, and it gets better every.
Yeah,
I can't believe like that. Like the guy was like, "Yeah, blue
like,
coffee."
Yeah, like blue coffee, good for you.
And you didn't take one. You didn't take one. You didn't take one sample sip. I would have taken a sample sip. I would have been like, a little sip. Nope.
I was committed, man. I even put my espresso, like I got a shot of espresso in the bottom because now 7-Eleven has a dope-ass espresso machine. I'm bougie when it comes to coffee. And blue coffee could have ruined me good.
Not
man.
that bougie 7-Eleven.
Hey, that's all that was there.
That's nutty.
Yeah, man. So shit, I don't even know how we got there. Goddamn blue coffee got me lost again.
Oh,
the COVID.
Oh yeah, COVID. Yeah, man. So yeah,
no free will. One of those.
Yeah, no free will. No original thought. Still mind blown.
Deep. Another deep episode.
But yeah, man,
just talk about like 2021 goals and like, did you kind of have like I feel like we talked about it for a while, but I was wondering if you were leading up to like a specific question for me on like 2021 goals, you said.
Oh no, I was just telling you like mine were derailed, and like I said, like I kind of got caught in that state of misery, and I pulled. Oh, here we go. I remembered, and I kind of pulled myself out, like just because I chose to be positive. I was like, okay, look, fuck it, like this sucks. You'll be back to work in this. You'll be able to skate and do this, and then once I got, because I didn't feel creative, like I felt like I was there was nothing to pull from, like to post. When I was off, and when, like you said, and man, you miss a couple days, you're off the face of the map again. You're starting from scratch, and
feels like,
yeah, and the everything affects it, and it's just like, and I was thinking on that, and then I kind of got lost in the thought of like, I should be focusing on my health versus this, but this is still my life, like just because I can't just take downtime just because, you know, like we don't have time for that. So it was just a weird thought process. It's not the way I want to start 2021, but no, man, just getting into like, yeah. And that, what we talked about led me to where we wanted to go was just, I've been trying to be more empathetic and just embracing people for their whole person. Like, again, touching on when I look at someone, I look at this 50-year-old guy I'm working with. I'm like, he was probably a cool cat when he was 20 years old. You know what I mean? Like he never thought he'd be doing duck work for 30 years. You know, it's just, I try to think of that person as he's still just a person, you know, like he's just here. Like he's doing the best he can, you know, and that's the way I try to look at it. And that's the mindset I wanted to have going into 2021 is accept people for who they are and take the time to understand it. You know, like it's important for people to have that outlet, even if it's just a hi, hello. You know what I mean? Like to give someone the opportunity. That's the way. That's just what going in, man.
Yeah, there was two things that made me think of. One was positivity, and like you talked about it with your COVID, but I think it's important for people to hear is that there's a difference between like choosing to be positive and choosing to be delusional, sort of thing.
Yeah, very much.
Like you I don't think people should go, oh, I have COVID, but it doesn't matter. Like I'm all or whatever. It's more of a being grounded in the situation and keeping it in perspective. And I think that that's something that people get messed up with when they're trying to make their lives better is they're coasting, and then something tears them down. And they're just like, then they keep trying to be like, I'm all good. And then that
you can't pretend it. Yeah.
And then the other thing was just like, talking about that fellow you work with, the 50-year-old guy. And I feel like for me, I've learned that it's really important to always remember that you're not above any like you're just because you're like young and have great ideas and this and that doesn't mean that you couldn't end up in a situation that like, you know, you could just like end up in a job that maybe, you know, like maybe dream he wanted to accomplish or something. And for me, it's like I've got like a good education and all these things and all these ideas, but it doesn't mean that I couldn't be an idiot and go get a DUI tomorrow, sort of thing.
Right, absolutely.
Like, yeah, like not to think of yourself as bulletproof, I guess.
Man, what did you say? What'd you say to me? So the way you put it, like you like, you know, like once you accept that mistakes will happen. Like what did you say? Can you elaborate more on that? We were texting about it or talking about it earlier. Do you remember our conversation or no?
Man, we have so many conversations.
I know, but this one is one of the ones that stuck with me. Like I think I apologized because I was on call and I was on this phone. I was on the phone Friday for like 6 hours of my day. It was insane, and we were shooting a video, and I was just like, I'm so sorry. And you're like, hey man, like, you know, it's okay. You know, like I just can't remember what we were talking about. But it was just along the lines that once you accepted that once you understand that mistakes will happen, it's okay. It just is what it is. You know, like it's
I briefly I was just basically saying like, you know, if you expect everything to be fucking flawless and people aren't going to be late or you're not going to, you know, something's not going to happen, like that's just childish. And then once you get past like accepting like shit's not going to always go your way, it's just easier to overcome the battles. Like, damn, we got 5 minutes till we can do this, and instead of stressing, it's like, okay, we'll post it 10 minutes late and it'll be the same thing if we didn't. So that's all. I was just letting you know, bud. I got your back. It's cool.
No, I know. It's just a thought that because I've been thinking about it since then. Because, you know, like I told you, I left my damn boots at home and tried to turn around and get them, and I'm like telling.
At first, I thought you were going back to the Phoenix talk, and I was like, damn, I don't remember that. That was a good speech.
That was good. Now shedding we talked about that a while. Like you were just shedding. Like the Phoenix, you know, you rise from the ashes, you shed that, and you're something new, you know, because that's the thing is like, and like you said, as we grow, and that's why I try to talk to different people that from my past. There we go. Because as we grow, like we become someone different. Like if you knew me in high school, like all you know me is just my fun, wild side. Like you obviously, unless you are listening to this, now you know how deep I get. you know, but like other than that, like you're just like, oh, this guy is a goon, and it's really it's not.
Well,
like
that's what
that.
I thought you meant by the flaws. Is when I was referencing the Phoenix, I was saying we're basically born, or we evolve from our mistakes. Like we made a mistake and we learn we're not going to do it again, and now we're a different person than we would have been. You know, so without these mistakes happening in our life, they wouldn't shape who we really are. So you need mistakes. If you try to have a flawless life, it's just why. You know, you're never going to change. You're never going to grow.
You touched on one more thing that I want to touch on, and this was the negative connotations. I'm so happy you reminded me.
Here we go.
Here we go. Sorry, are you ready? All right, hold on, folks. Here we go. So this is something I want to work on. So and I had this realization when I was meditating the other day. So sometimes when I tell stories of my life and stuff like that, sometimes I will bring up a negative part of my life that happened to me to either mock it and to maybe make myself feel more comfortable with it, to see how someone else feels about it, maybe. So anywho, like I share about this time in my life where I left where I live. I moved somewhere else, and I took a chance on myself and on somebody else, you know, and things didn't work out with that other person. And it's always like, I would tell this story where I had like, man, this was the wildest summer of my life. Like I picked up, I moved, and I did all these great things. Oh, but by the way, like we had signed this lease, and then we had like she left me 2 months in, and I find myself telling that part, and I'm like, and I was meditating there, and I was like, why do I tell that part? Like, why don't I just tell the part where I developed these relationships with 5 people that I had one of the best summers of my life with, that I'll never forget, like these people that I will never forget. And I just messaged like 2 of them yesterday. Like we started conversations the other day, because like I had this realization. I was like, you know, I got to reach out. I want to reach out, because these people not only saved me in a situation where I was not in a good place. You know, I was bouncing from, you know, sleeping on a floor to sleeping on someone's couch. Like it was a wild time in my life. You know, and I just thought about my growth moving forward is from now on, and I don't know why, I want to air it out with you, but from now on, when I move forward, like I'm going to leave that part out. I'm just going to talk about the great time I had and the relationships that I built, versus the one that ended, and like it didn't ruin anything, because now here I am.
You're growing up so fast.
But this ties me to something I never want to change. I never want to change my past. Like, oh, I go back, I do this. Now I wouldn't, because then I wouldn't have this thought. I wouldn't have this experience. I wouldn't have that. And yeah, of course, trauma sucks, but that also shapes who we are. But I don't have to vocalize that just because of what I learned, because that's only a percentage of my personality, you know, like of what I learned and what I grew from that. So that was just something I wanted to bring up, is like, if you had ever thought about that, where instead of using a part of a story or using a part of your life, you've just you know it's there, and it shaped you, and it helped your growth, but you just leave it there. You leave it in the closet, kind of, you know, but not in a negative way. Why? Like if someone, you know what I mean?
I think I do. And I definitely see how something about the Phoenix sort of reminded you of that, like letting it die and then being reborn from it, sort of thing. And for me, like for the Phoenix thing, I feel like every single instant of every single like moment you're alive is like that Phoenix thing, and how like that just happened, it's gone forever, and you spent it however you spent it.
Yeah.
And like, the only thing that you can do by trying to go back to that moment is just let more moments keep flying by you.
Yeah, man. You
like,
know,
it's just like that. It's the paradox where, like, if you want to hold something, or if you want to like have something, you can't hold it. And life is like that. Like if you want to embrace every moment for the fullest, you have to like experience it, and then it's gone.
Let it go.
Man. You've got to let it go.
Onto it, then you aren't experiencing life anymore. If you're holding on to something past that was good, then you're just letting more moments fly by.
Man,
That happens
It's
with me a
terrible,
lot with
honestly.
my kid, man. I'll find myself like doing like this whole big event. Like today, I took him ice skating for the first time, which is big for me being a hockey guy. And so, and like the whole time's going by, and it's like almost the end of the time. We're about to get off, and I'm like, damn, I didn't take no pictures. I didn't take nothing for my mom. Like because I was just so stuck in the moment. Time just went by so quick because I was just like there having a moment with my son. I didn't care about anything else at that moment.
Yeah.
It's wild how that works. It's just like, time flies. Boom.
One that really got me was a talk where someone was talking about how like you do so many different unique things every day, and chances are you're doing something for the last time today, whether it's like washing some
Fuck.
profit and it's great, and it's like chances are something you did today you will never do it again.
That's crazy.
It's such a great way to be mindful and be like, oh my god, like time is slipping away, I have to enjoy every moment, right? Because it's like, what if I like lose this, like this is my grandma's bracelet, what if I like lose it tonight and today was the last day I ever wore this bracelet?
Oh
Yeah.
no.
And I just like feel it on my wrist and be like, I love this bracelet, like
Right.
just, like what if I lose this shirt and like I love this shirt, like just enjoy everything because it could be the last time you ever do it.
But also enjoy everything in this aspect of like, it's also like the first time you're doing it too. Everything you're doing is for the first, this is the first, like we have conversations every Sunday, but this is the first time we've talked about this with him while I'm wearing this and this, you know what I'm saying? Like, so at the same time, everything's the first time you're doing it too.
All being reborn, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, this is the new life.
Man.
It's like a comic book, you flick it really fast and the character moves, but each page is something different. Like that's like, we're just constantly fucking deep over here. What are you doing, Big J?
Man, what a great podcast. I'm just sitting here, I'm relishing the moment.
So
man.
real quick, before we get too far ahead, I know you brought up 2021. Let's talk about you a little before we get off of here. What you got? Big plans? You got what's going on? You were talking about your game plan, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I've been a little bit flustered. Like it's so hard when you focus on the social media and stuff because you get big wins and you post a lot of stuff that doesn't catch and things like that. And I mean, I'm getting views and things like that, but can't help but want this sort of, can't help but want to turn it into like a career where you're like all your ducks are in a row sort of thing. And it becomes a business instead of just like the creative side. Yeah. But in a way, wreck the creative side, So I've been trying to think of ways to do that where I think I want to start live streaming when I am recording, making beats, working out in the mornings, like doing my clothing design stuff because I'm still doing some like fashion and clothing design stuff. And there's something else, but just like I just want to try to take more opportunities to kind of show everyone the full spectrum of who I am and what I'm doing. I think that that's sort of what I want to focus.
You're building your brand. You're building your brand. Yeah.
For me, it's funny because there's so many amazing artists that I really love that they still drop a project and I might forget to listen to it or something. Yeah. But for me, it seems like the YouTube channels and the things that I really get into and I stick with it for at least a little while are the ones that make me feel like I'm a part of their community or I'm interacting with them. And I don't know if you watch, like, I've been watching quite a few videos from Mr. Beast lately. And he does a really great job of having something interesting and like he has great, cool concepts for his videos. But I feel like where it really shines is you like get the genuine interaction between him and his friends. And you get lots of like really full, like wholesome, candid moments that just make people feel like they're truly seeing you and they're truly sort of getting a human interaction. Right. So I think that I want human interaction to be sort of the focus for this brand that I'm building, so that there's the funny songs, there's the great music, but I wanted to be a part of something bigger where maybe I can start like a Discord or some sort of forum for people to meet and interact with people, keep messaging, and hopefully that way I can make people's lives better, but then I can also sort of get those super fans that will really want to buy that CD or that shirt or so that I can spend all my time, and hopefully it's like a good win-win type thing.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's a great
Like
goal.
it.
That's
I like it.
yeah, man. And you'll be successful, man. I can tell your attitude, man. The way you have already, though your growth already from you were suspended on Instagram and everything, and just like your growth coming back from that, man. It's I looking at your videos today. I was like, man, his views and his likes are growing. I mean, that's good because I'm glad more people are seeing this, like, because I enjoy it, So like, definitely, man. Like, it's the only way to go is up, and we will. The path to success it's a very rocky, very hilly. Sometimes there's gullies and lakes and quicksand. But no matter what, I really think if you keep working for it and know what your purpose is, and you will be successful, man. And you've got it figured out, dude. And I'm happy for you. I wish you a great, successful 2021, man. And I think that's a great way to wrap, dude. I don't want to, but man, we've been at it. Like, we've been at it, man.
How long have we been talking?
I don't know. I feel like almost 2 hours.
Almost,
again.
yeah, almost.
Yeah,
2
man.
hours.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And I don't want to go. Like, I know we could talk all night, man.
Yeah, we definitely didn't really we scratched the surface here.
Yeah, it's great though, man.
Well, let me extend an olive branch. I'm considering starting to do like something like this of my own.
Yeah.
And do it live through like a YouTube live and a TikTok live.
Okay.
And if you guys wanted to maybe try to hop on with me sometime,
Definitely.
I try to have guests, and I don't know how I'll do it with multiple people, but I'll have to see how I can set that up.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I figure it out, I'm sure I can get on a YouTube live and then like patch in the Zoom call or something like that.
Yeah,
but
no, let's definitely do that, man. Definitely send me some info on that. It's funny because it's great you bring that up, because I've actually got some stuff I want to send you for a song, because you did that pudgy thing so well. Like, I've got some
about that.
I know, like you did that so well, man. I've got some hockey sounds from some videos that are really unique, and I was like, I was talking to Stevie. I'm like, we got to send these to OGR, bro, and I was like telling you, like, he's gonna kill a beat with these sounds. Like, it'll be next level, and then we can put it to one of our videos and do a collab. Like, I've got some stuff brewing, man, and I'm real close to we're getting set up in like a new house and everything next month. So it's one of the things that we're moving forward to in progress, man. And once we get moving, I'm gonna have my own space where I can have these different things and more tools that we can use, man. So definitely, I see like I said, we said the first time, a friendship and a relationship has been formed, man. And I love your content. I'm so happy you came on, dude. And I'm glad we got to have this conversation, man. We definitely hit everything I wanted to hit, but we can still talk for 100 more hours.
Totally.
So
yeah, I'll be back soon.
Oh,
but
yeah,
dude,
for sure.
OGR, plug everything real fast again before we get out of here. Plug everything for me.
All right, I'm sure that my name is written in the description of this video somewhere, so I'll spell it out for you again. But yeah, I've got a whole bunch of new Canadian remixes coming out, and I just put out a song called "I'm Sorry That I Ghosted You," that is pretty much from the perspective of someone who just ghosted someone, and sort of essentially, I think the song is about how we could probably be better and how we communicate with each other. But it's also kind of funny and kind of groovy too.
Right. Yeah.
So
we didn't even touch on that. Oh man.
Yeah. If you want some music that isn't just about guns and drugs and women and etc., check out my stuff. You might like it.
For sure, and I will stamp that. I remember when we first got to meet, and I did a deep dive on YouTube and looked back to all your projects, man. And I was so happy that I had an ear for your music, because I still remember I was like, this is what you were like. These are my favorite projects, and they were in line with yours, So yeah. It's great, guys. He's got great content for real, and as you heard from this podcast, definitely we'll post the link to the old podcast, the former one that we did as well. But if you want to do a deep dive and really learn a lot about us here at Men Behind the Mitts and then OGR, man, this is a great way for you guys to learn a lot about how we feel, and we get pretty deep, like, yeah, we're a bunch of beer league buttes, but we got a soft side, we got a soft side in there. But again, thanks, Silk, for your time. Thank you, OGR, for coming back. And I think that does it, man.
All right, boys, it's been a pleasure. Till next time.
Guys.
The boys boys from Men Behind the Mitts just want to say thanks for listening. And as always, be sure to follow us on all your favorite social media outlets at Men Behind the Mitts. Brought to you by Silky Mitts Hockey Club. Support the boys at silkymitsHC.com.